Looking forward to maybe your next visit in the playoffs. How you fancy Ireland's chances of qualifying for the World Cup? We'll go to Mr. Gallagher first.
Well, you know what? It's good to be out here in the sunshine. I know. I'm a bit wary of the playoffs, like, to be honest with you. I thought with most of the games during the group, like, the games were there for the taking. I know, like, 2-2 against Italy and 1-1 away from home is, like, they're good results at the start, but when you look at them for each game on their merits, I think we should have won. Like.
Here. We have two more Irish fans here, one of them dressed like an early 80s Eurovision entry there with the headband. But looking forward to the playoffs now. We should be quite confident going in, regardless of who we get.
I think fairly confident. I'm being in the group so far. I think every team in Europe would fear us. Like Saturday's performance, even though we didn't win, I think strike fear into the likes of France, Greece and Portugal, and I don't think anyone want to play us in the playoffs. Like anyone who gets us will be shrieking, be worried if they get us, in my opinion.
Here we are, two young men from Clonsilla as we're looking into the playoffs now. Would you be confident of Ireland getting through from the playoffs?
Yeah, definitely, because I don't know, the game with Italy just showed that we can do really anything we can just get behind the ball well, and we can show that some big teams that what we can do and stuff. So we aren't just one small club, and we can do really better than some teams. And some clubs, some countries they don't really know. They just look at us and they're like, oh, well, it's just Ireland, do you know what I mean? And especially just competing against Italy, the world champions, do you know what I mean? So it was good to get a draw of it, but it would have been better to win, but anything's good, especially against Italy. So.
When I think of all the young men I've interviewed, and I'd say you've answered longer than everyone else combined. Well, fair play to you and he's nervous.
If we got Portugal, they definitely fill Croke Park. Ronaldo would fill it himself anyway, so... but I'd be honest with you, I would like to see him playing France.
You want France?
I do, yeah. I think we would stand a good chance with France.
What about Greece? Tardelli said he wanted.
I prefer Greece as well, because we could Greece lightning them, you know.
Yeah.
And
you're writing the headlines already, are you?
Yeah.
This team is looking like it's going to go places in the future. It just needs that little bit of luck. We now talk about the rub of the green, we don't get it.
Yeah, the luck of the Irish isn't always very lucky, is it?
And Seth Blatter's not helping us either, is he? What he done by seeding us?
He's not, but we do have Giovanni Trapattoni, and he's a big advantage, isn't he?
He's a very big advantage. I think he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. Like he's been there and done that, as they say. He has the T-shirt.
So here we have some unusual people from Cork who actually have an interest in the Irish soccer team. That's a bit rare, isn't it?
Not really. All the good players that played with Ireland were from Cork.
Like Stephen Ireland, yeah.
Stephen Ireland, yeah.
Roy Keane,
yeah.
They all seem to have something else to do at different times.
Charlie Hurley.
We'll just go with Dennis Irwin and we'll move on.
Dennis Irwin, oh yeah. Oh, Robin.
Dennis Irwin, of course, the man who scored twice in the playoffs against Belgium. We didn't get through, but looking forward to the playoffs now. You know, are you optimistic as Ireland head into the playoffs?
Yeah, well, if provided we end up with the likes of Greece now or maybe Russia, but I wouldn't be too optimistic playing against France or Portugal.
And what about these young lads? Some of these may have been conceived because of the 2002 World Cup. Lads, you've no memories of Ireland playing in the World Cup, do you?
No.
Who's your favourite player?
Probably Kevin Doyle.
Kevin Doyle, not a bad choice. And yourself?
Another Cork City player.
Maybe McGeady.
Maybe McGeady, keeping his options open. I think we have a politician here, a man who'll be sorting out his expenses later.
Russia.
Yeah, Russia. That's what we want. A nice handy hop over to Moscow, and we don't want to see Ronaldo diving around Croke Park, do we?
Well, Greece are unbeaten. That's what I thought first. Greece are unbeaten, but Russia, I think we'd have a better chance at. So.
We've won all our playoffs this century. That's a good omen, isn't it?
That's a good omen, yeah. And hopefully we'll go farther.
The paper today said if we draw or win tonight, we'll be the only team in a playoff that's unbeaten, so that has to count for something. But we'll see who we get on Monday. Nice trip to Lisbon 3, that's what we're hoping for.
we hopefully that we've had 2 treaties, but now we upset the Lisbon people in the playoffs maybe.
We'll upset them next week, hopefully.
We certainly don't want to upset the Russians. That could be awkward.
Could be, yeah. Well, like you look at Arshavin and sure, chap is just class. So I wouldn't really fancy a trip there, you know.
It's interesting to hear the Kilkenny pronounce it. I'd have called them Arshavin, but Arshavin.
Sure.
It could be a close shave in the playoffs, but hopefully we'll make it through. Hey! Thanks a million, lads.
And hopefully we'll make the World Cups in South Africa next year.
Is this what you do for romance as you go to see Ireland play?
Do I look that young?
You do indeed, yeah. Well, look, misjudged the ages and caused a bit of controversy there. It'll be our 5th playoff now, and we failed in a few of them.
And we have failed in a few of them, yeah.
What are your memories?
Crying. That's my memories, especially when we played Holland, yeah, and they beat us in just 2-0. Definitely there were tears then.
And we're hard to beat, so that's another big advantage that we have.
Very organised now, yeah. From what you can imagine, just prior to the championships, when there was low hope, there's great hope there now, and in spite of Mr. Dunphy, I think we have a very organised team, you know, and hope it goes on from there. And he, as Frank said, it's very, very organised. He has the whole thing, and it may not be pretty at times, but who gives a damn about prettiness? Winning is what it's all about.
Exactly, like the girl I took to my dad. She may not be pretty, but she do a job for you.
Let's be honest about it. We're going back to the good old days again. I think we are, yeah.
I'm very hopeful that we can actually do it this time. I mean, he's brought a bit of pride back into Irish soccer. You know, we got a bit of a kicking there for a while, but you know, we're back, and thank God we're back.
We'll be releasing this as a single.
You boys in green, come on, you boys. A bit of crack in it.
It is a bit of crack.
Nobody on the hill, do you?
I do.